Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Wet Shaving with Angelo. I'm Angelo, and no shave today. I was tagged in a YouTube video by Spider Shaves for TSC to do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 challenge. Now, what is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 challenge, you may ask? That's simple. That's where you do your top five shaves. You do your top five shave soaps, top four post shaves, top three shave brushes, top two razors, and number one blade. And generally speaking, it could be for 2019, but I'm going to do a little differently. I'm going to do what Spider did for his video, and I'm going to do the top 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in my shave den overall. So some of these items I've had for a few years, some I got today, and we're just going to go from there. So now let's start with the top 5 shave soaps. And number 5, Dr. Harris Marlboro. The scent of this soap, this was my first soap from Dr. Harris, and I have to say, it's a very good soap. Of all the British branded shave soaps out there, I love Dr. Harris the best. And Marlboro is my all-time favorite of their soaps. I love Marlboro because it's a good blend of cedarwood it's a blend of cedar and sandalwood. Very nice masculine scent. So that's my number 4 soap. My number 5 soap, my number 5 soap. My number 4 soap in my den, Razor Rock What the Puck Blue Barbershop. Now, I love Razor Rock soaps overall, but their triple milled WTP soaps, they are some of the best in the business. For anywhere between $4 or $5 a puck, you get a triple milled shave soap. And this is just a nice, clean barbershop scent. I've heard that this was their take on the scented, the aftershave Floyd Blue, which is now discontinued. It may be a take on that, I'm not sure, but it's a lovely scented soap for like classic barbershop scented soaps and aftershaves. And it's very reasonably priced at $4 or $5 a puck, depending on who you buy it from. So that's my number 4. Number 3, Martin de Condre Agrumes. This is one of my favorite luxury shave soaps of all time. And let me tell you something about Martin de Condre. When you get into Martin de Condre full size 7-ounce shave soap, it's going to be something. It's going to be something you're going to be inheriting to someone when your time comes, because these shave soaps last a long, long time. And my cat's making a scene of himself because he's not getting any attention. Ignore him. But look at this. I've used this a dozen or more times, and it looks like it's barely been used. The scent of this is very lemony, very citrusy. To me, it's a happy scent, if that makes any sense. It's a happy scent, very happy scent indeed. So I love using Martin de Condre's Agrumes. I have 2 out of their soaps, the original and the Fougere, but Agrumes is my favorite of their scented soaps of all their soaps. So that's number 3 of my top 5 shave soaps. My number 2, Barrister and Man Leviathan. This is a blend. This is a perfect blend of leather, coffee, and sandalwood. Now, I know they came out with a new label for the Leviathan shave soap and aftershave, but I don't know if they changed the formula at all. But this is just classic. This is just classic leathery, coffee-scented soap with a little bit of sandalwood mixed in for good measure. Of all the Barrister Man soaps I've used, and I've used a few of them, I love Leviathan the best. My number 1 shave soap, Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements' Black Bot. Now, this is Douglas Smythe's take on a vintage aftershave called Black Belt, and he calls it the ultimate musk, or the archetypal musk as he calls it, and I have to agree with him. This is the soap I have in the CK6 formula. I used to have this in the original formula, but then I upgraded to the CK6 formula because the CK6 formula of PAA soaps, they're second to none when it comes to vegan soaps. Just a classic musky scented soap that's sexy as hell and great soap for anyone that loves musk soaps. So that's my top 5 shave soaps in my den. My top 4 aftershaves in my den. Number 4, Avon Clint. Again, now out of the bottle, it doesn't smell as good, but when you splash it on, it's got a very good rugged scent to it. It's hard to describe, but it's very pleasing. And people around me always compliment me when I wear Avon Clint, so that's always a good fragrance to wear. And if you're looking into buying vintage aftershaves, look into the Avon aftershaves, because Avon aftershaves, vintage ones, can go for dirt cheap. Even on eBay, they can go for dirt cheap. But if you find them in an antique store, thrift store, or even at a flea market, you can easily pay $1 to maybe $3 for even a big 8-ounce bottle of Avon aftershaves. You can get a vintage Avon aftershaves full bottle with the box for dirt cheap, literally. If you find them in the wild. If you find them in the eBay, a little bit more, but not that much more. So number 4 is Avon Clint. Number 3 of my top 4 aftershaves, True Fit and Hill Spanish Leather. Now, when I feel like using a luxury aftershave splash, I usually reach for one of my True Fit and Hill aftershaves. Most commonly, Spanish leather. But the thing is, now these normally go for $75 retail, but I got this at 30% off from West Coast Shaving, so because there's no way in heck I'm going to be paying that much money for one bottle of aftershave. But when it's discounted at 30% off, I'll go for it. But this is one of those aftershaves that you just smell right out the bottle. Just a great leather scent. And it's like a classic English scent almost, if that makes sense. Like a classic, refined English scent. So that's my number 3 aftershave. My number 2, Figaro Monsieur Gold. Now this is one of my favorite oud scented aftershaves. There's plenty of other scent notes to it, which they're all written in Italian, sadly. But there's not only is there oud in there, there's tobacco, vanilla. Let's see what else is there. Bergamot. Oh, well, it's all written in Italian, so I can't really read, and I don't read Italian. But the scent of this, oh, it's just very pleasing to the nose, very pleasant. You can find this at Italian Barber. Sorry, you can find this in ItalianBarber.com, and this is just if you love oud scented aftershaves or tobacco scented aftershaves, and you don't want to break the bank, go for Figaro Monsieur Gold. It's run, I believe they're owned by TFS, which is short for Shun Fung Sing, which is an Italian brand of shave soaps and aftershaves, which is owned by Razor Rock, and it's so pleasing to my sense of smell. Number 1 aftershave, and I've used this on Sundays. I typically use this Stetson. In this case, Stetson Cooling Moisture. I could have went with the Stetson Original, but I went with Cooling Moisture because 1, this is very similar to the original scented Stetson, and 2, the Cooling Moisture version is a lot cheaper. The Stetson Cooling Moisture aftershave goes for at Walmart $5 and change, whereas the original scented Stetson goes for $20 or more, depending where you buy it from. And this is just a ruggedly lovely leather. Sorry. I definitely detect the leather in there, and it's just a sexy scent. Just a really good man scent. So that's my top 4 aftershaves. My top 3 shave brushes of all time. First off, Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, the Atomic Rocket. This was one of my earliest, not my first synthetic shave brush, but one of my favorite early synthetic shave brushes of all time. For $15, which it retails now on Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements, you get a great shave brush. And I've never had any problems with this. This has kept its shape all the time I've had it. And I constantly go back to this every time. Not every time, but a lot of times when I want a simple shave brush that gets the job done and gets the job done right, I go to this brush. Number 2 of my top 3 shave brushes, Simpson's Chubby 2 synthetic. I recently acquired this from Maggard Razors, and this is a lovely, well-crafted brush. A bit on the high end, obviously, but well worth the price of admission. Now, just for everyone's information, when it comes to shave brushes, I'm strictly a synthetic kind of guy. But the bristles here are some of the softest bristles I've ever touched in my life. And look at that. It's densely packed. It is densely packed. Builds a lather like a son of a gun. And I do not regret buying this. I've had maybe 1 or 2 hairs shed, but that's about it. But this really holds its own. This is just a great shave brush. If you're looking for a luxury end shave brush, go for the Simpsons Chubby 2. There's a reason why the Simpsons Chubby line of shave brushes is well reserved, and the synthetic version is no difference. Number 1 shave brush of all time, Rich Man Shaving, the Black Widow. This is a shave brush that I constantly turn to time after time after time again. And why? Because it's perfect in its simplicity. It doesn't have to look fancy, but it looks sleek as heck. And the bristles are super soft. Actually softer than the synthetic Simpsons brush I just showed you. This holds its own against any brush in its price range, or even higher than that. Rich Hansen really makes great brushes, generally speaking. And the Black Widow I bought a few months ago, now it's discontinued. As far as I know, it's discontinued. But this is a great brush any of the Rich Man shaving brushes are great brushes to own. And you can find his brushes on Etsy. And for the handcrafted quality that he makes the handles out of, you get bang for your buck. And his Black Widow brush is my all-time favorite shave brush of all time. Now, the top 2 razors in my den. Number 2, the Rod George Catacombs 2 razor. This was my first razor I bought as a custom-made item. In other words, this one I asked Rod George to custom make for me. It's made out of patinaed brass on the middle and just regular brass on the outer ends. And look at these skulls. Look at these skulls. This really is this is my number 2 razor for a good reason. And it shaves very well. It's got a lot of heft to it. And it shaves extremely well. So that's my number 2 razor. My number 1 razor, and this is for sentimental reasons. The 1948 through 1950s Gillette Super Speed. This was the razor my grandfather or great-grandfather used in his daily shaving way back when. This is a family heirloom, and this had to be number 1 for a good reason. Not just because it's a family heirloom, but I could put any blade in this razor and get an excellent shave out of it. Baby butt smooth every time, regardless of what blade I put in it. So those are my top 2 razors. My number 1 blade of all time. If you watch my top 5 video on blades, you should know the answer to that. Voskhod. Voskhod blades are made in Russia, and they're stainless steel blades that are Teflon coated. And the great thing about Voskhods is they're not too sharp and they're not too dull. They're right in the middle. They're like a perfect middle ground blade, perfect for testing out new blades, or new razors, I should say. And also, if you want just an easygoing baby butt smooth shave every time, I would go for Voskhod personally. You may think something else is better. But personally, my personal preference for the best blade in the world is Voskhod. Now it's time for me to tag 3 people to do this challenge, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 challenge. I challenge Matt Pisarcik of Razor Emporium. I challenge James Bayer of Before and Aftershaves. And I challenge, let's see, who should I challenge? Who should be my 3rd tag? Oh, I'm going to tag Rud Shaves for my third person to tag. So I'm going to tag Matt Pisarcik of Razor Emporium, James Bayer of Before and After Shaves, and Rudge Shaves. So that was my top 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 list, everyone. Have a good day. Have a good shave. Goodbye.